So how does the public perceive Aikido, and how do we feel about Koki-Kai versus the public's opinion of Aikido?
I think we have to address the elephant in the room. I think the public perception of Aikido, especially maybe from other martial arts, is that it's fake. I think that many people that watch Aikido online don't understand what they're watching. They don't understand the context with which it's happening in. And to be honest, I mean, it has to do also with the qualifications of the individuals who have gained the public eye. Some people have followings for various reasons that may not be martial art related. And I think at its core, Aikido is a martial art.
Yeah. And I would agree. Sensei has always said Aikido is a martial art first, and then there's the art part of it second, like character development that we've talked about. You know, Sensei brought Aikido to the United States in 1966, and he taught at a judo club in Cleveland. And he had his struggles dealing with bigger Americans and not used to the different attacks. And then he moved to Philadelphia in 1968 and really established his roots and cultivated what he calls Koki-Kai. And with that being said is, he changed Aikido that we believe for Americans, and he always modernized it. He always told me, Aikido is always growing. For example, we don't do swariwaza anymore on the knees, because even in Japan, many people don't do swariwaza. We defend against sucker punches and kicks, all from his experiences he learned teaching prison guards, teaching law enforcement. So, you know, Aikido is a martial art, particularly here in the Keystone Dojo. I have federal agents, I have police officers, I have prison guards, bouncers, all different walks of life, who also study jiu-jitsu and other martial arts, and they all agree that they would use Aikido first, or they'd rather use Aikido through taking someone down and establishing control. And the joke in front of the law enforcement, some of my students, is if they use Aikido, it's a little bit less paperwork. So, and I would like to say, as a black belt in jiu-jitsu myself, the reason why I study jiu-jitsu is because, you know, there's gaps in every martial art. Yeah. So Aikido is, as we mentioned, is Budo. And the way it's designed is, I attack, you defend. You attack, I defend. We never claim that, you know, Aikido is going to go into a UFC ring and beat an MMA fighter or, you know, Division I national champion wrestler. That's not how Aikido is designed. It is a self-defense system of, you know, I also almost call it kata. You attack, we defend. But we defend against every attack. Grabs, punches, kicks, multiple attackers, etc.
Yeah, I think the point you make, and I'm going to be really specific here and say Koki-Kai Aikido, because I think you hit a really good point that Sensei's own evolution, and the reason why I want to use the word evolution here is sometimes people have change for change, and I think Sensei allowed his experience and the friction he experienced to evolve the way he practiced and the way he responded to things, and the way he brought modern thought to Koki-Kai Aikido versus, say, I think one of the challenges that we see more broadly in the Aikido community is that we're rooted so heavily in tradition. Sometimes we lose sight of the forest for the trees when we think about self-defense. And I think you raised a really, really good point in the sense that Aikido is not designed for the ring. That's not our intent, that's not our focus, it's not our audience. Our audience is self-defense, and these two things are very different in their nature.
Yeah. Sensei, I don't know if he told you the same thing one time, told me he was even thinking of just calling it Koki-Kai and moving himself away from Aikido because he felt he was so far removed from some of the different things.